Hey there. Happy Friday, everybody. We've made it, right? We made it to the end of the week. I'll tell you what kind of week it's been. It's a 2 mug at one time kind of week. That's what kind of week it's been. I promise it's not 2 mugs of coffee, but still, it's been a week. Hey, Miss Vicky. I am hoping that this is going to work this time. We're having some technical issues, but hopefully I've got a special guest for you today. She's having some trouble connecting with the internet, so we shall see if she's able to hop on here. So I will start out by just saying, if you haven't had a chance to scroll through my Facebook feed and check out some of the live interviews I've been doing the last couple weeks, then you must, because I've had the privilege of sitting down with some of the most talented, inspiring, and amazing women I know the last few weeks and doing short interviews with them. So talking to women about their passions and everything that they've always wanted to do, and who, women who took that dream and went after it, I guess is what I'm trying to say. So women who are starting their own businesses or turning their passions into profits. I've gotten to spend time with so many of them the last couple days, which has been really, really exciting, and I'm so thankful for that. So there's Cheryl. I see her. Yay! If you haven't had a chance to watch some of those interviews, you can either scroll down on my Facebook feed and watch some of those there, or you can go to my website. I've been reposting them on there. So by the end of today, those interviews should be posted on the website. So you can go to dropleaf.co and check those out. But I just encourage you to do that, because these are women who have great stories to tell and great wisdom to share. And so I've got another one of those women to bring you here in a minute. But before that, let me introduce myself. My name's Jen Petro. I'm the owner of Dropleaf Communications, which is a marketing communications company based in Indianapolis. And I help businesses I help them with their marketing. So everything from social media to websites and branding and that sort of thing. But I also get to help women start their dream businesses. So I run a 12-week program just for women, sorry guys, where we go step by step, week by week on the basics of starting a business. So everything from the very beginning of vetting your idea, testing your idea, starting an LLC, getting going, and then we spend a lot of time on things like digital marketing. So how do you brand your business, logos and names and websites and social media and all that stuff. But honestly, the teaching is fun, but the best part of it is the community. So we get to come together. These are women from all around the country because we do it all online. We get to come together and learn at our own pace, support each other, encourage each other along the way. So it's full of community and accountability. It's really low key and a lot of fun. So I would encourage you, if that's something that might be of interest to you, I would encourage you to go to the website, check it out. Registration closes on Wednesday night next week because the program kicks off next week. So don't wait, go check it out. Go to dropleaf.co, click on Academy, and you'll get there. So, all right, without further ado, let me tell you a little bit about Miss Cheryl before I bring her on here. She is based near Champaign, Illinois, so unfortunately she can't be sitting right next to me right now, which is such a bummer. But Cheryl is one of those women who just is multi-talented. There's no other way to say it. She is so good at so many different things, and she has so much to offer. I'm going to let her talk in her own words a little bit about what some of those things are, but I'll tell you there's a theme to everything she does, and that is she helps people get unstuck. So Cheryl is amazing at helping people look at an issue in their life. It could be a professional issue, a personal issue. It could be just about a season of life, and helping them look at their situation and say, okay, what's the next step that I need to take? So I love that about Cheryl. She also has a super diverse background. So she's got corporate, nonprofit, lots of education experience, as well as experience in the entrepreneurial startup world. So she brings a wealth of expertise to the table. And she's one of those women who, when they speak, you write things down. Like Cheryl is that kind of woman. So I would encourage you to hang out for this interview. I had the pleasure of meeting Cheryl about 1.5 years ago through Michelle Kashat's Inspired Life Mastermind, which was so much fun. So got to meet Cheryl there, and that's where we connected. She also took my 12-week business build program, which was so much fun to have her there as well. So she has lots to share. So I'm going to go ahead and see if I can connect her. We had trouble with this before, but hopefully it'll work. It's thinking. Hey, hey!
Yay!
Technology cooperated. All good.
I am not the tech savvy girl. That is not my role.
I don't think it was you.
I don't know what happened,
Who
but
knows?
anyway.
Thank you so much for taking time to do this. I know you're crazy busy, and so I am thankful for that. So
You're welcome.
I would
You're
love
welcome.
for you to just start out by telling us a little bit in your own words about what your passions are. What is it that you're passionate about and that you pursue, when you have time?
When I have time. First of all, thank you for the introduction. That I spoke yesterday at a Kiwanis meeting, and when they read the bio, I'm like, oh, on paper you sound like a really important person, when in essence, I'm just me. I will tell you that doing my mission statement with the Inspired Life Mastermind, which is I provide a safe landing place for people and then encourage and equip them to move forward, sums it up, because it is about encouragement, giving you hope, but also giving you the tools that you need. And the tools that you need could be, how do you clean up your office? How do you take a great big overwhelming task and one step at a time, and helping them see past that. And what I love watching people get it and being able to take the next step or the next 2 or 3. So at the core, and whether it's personal and relationships or business and visioning or with a corporation, it doesn't matter. I'm to help you get unstuck. It really is to help you get unstuck.
Yeah, I love that. Talk specifically about how that plays out and what you offer. So, the coaching, the speaking, talk about those things that you literally do to bring the world.
Okay, so 3 years ago, a friend of mine said, oh, you need to start a website, you need to blog. And I went, I have nothing to offer. What? I don't. But what's been fascinating is in the last 3 years, I've been able to take what was this big, and I'm a hands person, big, overwhelming stuckness and pare it down. And so I do consulting work, and it can be as simple as a young woman who had a photography business. She wanted to add another line of business to that. And she said, I need help with marketing and branding. And in listening to her, I went, you don't even know what your mission and vision is. Have you thought about that? So we spent 2 hours and charted out and brainstormed. And at the end, she went, oh, I know where I'm going. And now I can do the steps. So it was one person. Then another organization, some women who want to bring small communities together. And they had this overwhelming, like, how do we do this? They said, oh, phase 1 looks like this, phase 2. And I was able to distill down. And now I just connected with them this week, actually, and they're in phase 3 where they had intended to be in September of this year. So, and that was women who are in business. And even people in their homes, like, how do you meal plan? I'm a mom of kids, and I hate on Wednesday nights at 5 o'clock not knowing. Okay, well, let's back up and hello, does that sound familiar? How do you do that? Oh, okay, let's meal plan. Let's make Mondays meat and Tuesdays tacos and Wednesdays breakfast. Well, then you grocery shop accordingly. But for me, that's natural. But it is rocket science to other people, and it's not. So it's been interesting to watch. I mean, big corporations and banks, and then individuals, and families. So it's been the whole gamut.
I love that. And I think it is so interesting how sometimes when we're in our own rut, where we're stuck, and again, that could be like a season of life or a problem or whatever, it's amazing how sometimes the solution or the next step is so simple, but you can't see it when you're in the weeds. You just can't. Like, sometimes it is knowledge or expertise that you don't have, but a lot of times it's just you're in the weeds. And so it takes someone like you who can be kind of an outside person who can look objectively and strategically at the problem or the issue and be like, oh, this is what you need to do. I love that. And I mean, I can attest personally, you've done that for me in my own life, where it's like, duh, why did I not think of that? Like, that's an obvious but perfect next step. And so I love that about you. And I mean, so many of us, whether you're watching this live or you watch the replay, like, comment stuck if you've ever been there. Like, that's everyone. I mean, we've all been in situations like that where we just can't see it, like the fog, whatever, you just can't see what that right next step is. So I love that you bring that clarity and vision to the table for people, because it's like, it feels impossible sometimes to get out of it on your own. And sometimes it is. Sometimes you really do need an outside person to look at your situation and say, here's what you need to do.
And the cool part about that, Jen, is when it happens, like I can see they're overwhelmed, like
Yeah.
but then when we get there, they go, oh my gosh. So then the goal then is always to have them, what's that next thing that you could do this next time? And maybe you get 5 steps down the road and then you get stuck. So maybe you're not stuck up the beginning. So kind of like, you train your children, you do it for them and then you do it half for them. And then, and the other part is it's hard to admit you don't know. It's hard to admit something's up. I don't know. But we keep trying because that's what we're taught to do. When in essence, no, we're not meant to do it by ourselves. And we do need somebody else's vision.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And I think sometimes you don't even know where you're stuck. You just know that something feels off. And I think I've seen you work through that with people and with me, where you're able to identify, like, here's really what's making you feel crazy, or like, here's really what's holding you back. So being able to pinpoint, sometimes you don't even know.
Right.
Do you agree? Yeah, it's just sometimes.
Oh, absolutely. And I think that's, my kids make fun of me. They're like, Mom, not everybody has the problem. I'm like, sure do. They just don't know it yet. And a lot of it is listen, and that's what's been so fascinating the last 2 months in the position I'm in, listening. And if people just start talking, that's the other thing that I think, and I would like to advise people, embrace your strengths. And I have realized the last couple months, I am really, really good at identifying that.
Yeah.
I can listen and go, boom.
Yeah.
And
that's a gift.
And there's confidence in that, not, well, I don't. No, it's a gift.
Yeah.
It's a gift. And it's a gift I've been given. So you're right. People don't even know where they're stuck. But if you listen long enough, if I listen long enough, I can figure that out for them.
I love that. That's awesome. That's so true.
Yeah.
I love that. And that is a gift, because that's not something that most people or the people I know can do. That is definitely an intuition, and that's amazing. So I love that about you. Now you're in a unique position, because so many of the other women I've talked to during these interviews and stuff are, full-time running their own business. But you're in a really cool position because you were snatched up by a company, Starfire Industries, and you're in a professional growth and development role, right? So you have a full-time job. And I think it would have been easy for you at that point to say, okay, I've got this full-time job. My passions are going to have to sit on the sidelines. But you didn't do that. And so I want to hear about that.
It is a very unique situation. And again, the last 2 months have been very telling. When I started this business, my CherylBMitchell.com, which, by the way, Jen, is responsible for me owning that and saying I am a business owner, because I didn't ever feel like, oh, I'm really not. No, I am. And what I found, the last couple of jobs or careers that I had didn't fulfill everything in me. So that's when I went, I want to consult with these people, or I want to do speaking, or I want to do the Erland syndrome thing. And this position, I'm in a position as a single person that the financial aspects, I could not pull the trigger. I didn't have any backup. I knew I needed a lot of runway in front of me to get to a position, because I had kids in college. And so I had to look at it really from a reasonable, where am I to start with? And, Jen, you talked about that in your class. Own where you are, assess the current situation. And I did. And so then this opportunity came to me because I was full on in building my business the last 6 months. I mean, I had clients, I was traveling, I was speaking. I mean, I was ramping up. And when the opportunity came, I went, oh, but. So I really had to discern. And what has happened is this opportunity has fulfilled so much that everything that I had prepared in my business, I'm actually doing in my job. And so the cool part for me is I know that I want and I will own my own business, and that's what I will do full time, just not yet, because there are people here that I can help and do what I do in my business and get more practice, so it's kind of an interesting, does that make sense?
Yeah.
Where it's intricate, where I'm doing, and so I'm learning and growing my business. So I still do things on the side.
Yes.
I do them selectively based on time, and I have the ability to do that. but I'm consistently growing my network. I'm still looking at my business plan. I'm still looking at my goals each year. So I'm still doing those things, but but having a corporate real job.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah.
I love that because I do think it would have been easy just to say like, you know what, I'm in corporate now, so everything is gonna have to be put on hold. Like, wasn't meant to be, or whatever, wasn't meant to be right now. And I love that you're just saying, no, I'm still growing. I'm still growing, and I can still do outside of my regular 9 to 5 some of the things I love to do because I'm good at it and they bring me joy, you know? So I love
Yeah.
I love that.
The other thing that's interesting that came to me is a person in my life is building a business. And I get to do all the things that I'm going to do for mine and have for this person. And how cool is that? Because again, I'm using my strengths, but in a different way and guiding. And I'm thinking it's really kind of neat to help someone else, because then when I get to do those things, you're better at it. It's the teacher in me that says, if you want to learn it well, teach it.
Do it. Yeah.
So
I love that.
Yeah.
Oh, I love that. That's so exciting. You alluded to this a minute ago when you said that you had struggled to call yourself a small business owner when you actually were. But one of the questions I wanted to ask you is, you know, putting yourself out there as doing solo work on the side or full-time, whatever, it doesn't matter, is scary, right? It is scary sometimes. And so I'm curious, what are some of the fears or self-doubts or limiting beliefs, those kinds of things that you've had to battle, maybe still or at the beginning? You know, what are some of those things?
My family in the sense that, okay, my parents are farmers, and so they've done the same thing for 40 years. And my brothers are in very secure positions, and they're lifers, you know, they're lifers in their position. And I thought something was wrong with me because, and there were flaws in me that I didn't stay places very long. And the reality is, and I said this to my youngest son just 2 weeks ago, you're not a lifer. I'm not a lifer. And again, it's accepting how I'm made. And I'm made to do multiple different kinds of things. So some of those limiting beliefs are what people say about you. There is fear of financial. As a single mom for 18 years, and I have to provide for my family. And I mean, one of my brothers said to me, you run from stability. What? Well, from his perspective, I do. But I said, I'm not selling my soul for a retirement plan when I can't be fulfilled in who I am. So one of the things that I did, I took a piece of paper and I wrote down the limiting beliefs that I have. So-and-so said this about me, and here is the exact action I did that proves opposite. The limiting belief is, I'm not a business owner. I can't be an entrepreneur because my family, whatever. Oh, look at what I've started. And I made a list of all the things I've done, and I go, yeah. So again, part of that is just accepting who I am. And I'm not a lifer, and we need lifers. We need those people. That's not me. Because I help the lifers.
Yes. Oh, I love what you just said. I love everything you just said, but I love that replacing lies, which is what they are, self-doubts, limiting beliefs, they're lies, replacing them with truth. That's what you did. And that is such a powerful exercise, because I think so many of us have internalized these things, and they might come from childhood. They might, like you said, so-and-so said this. It could come from something that happened to you as an adult or whatever. I mean, there are lots of different places they can come from, but we have them playing in the back of our head all the time. And they raise their ugly heads, especially when we're about to do something that feels risky, like starting a business. And so for you to be able to name them, first of all, I think there's power, right? And just calling them out and naming them, writing them down is so smart, or speaking them out loud, but then to combat them head on with truth. And I think so often you look at that and go, why would I even think that about myself?
Right.
That's crazy.
Right.
So cool.
And, you know, Jen, the other thing is that as you were talking, I kept thinking, what I do is not a big deal. I mean, helping somebody organize their office isn't like, that's not a big deal. It's not that valuable. And I look back over the last several months and I think, maybe I ought to listen to what people are actually saying to me in a positive way, rather than the negative things because what I have to offer is unique, because I'm unique. It may be the same product as other people out there, and I do get intimidated by the scale. Like, well, it's already being done, or this company already has that, or they do this. Well, certainly, but they're not me.
Yeah.
They don't come with the bright eyes that I come with, and they don't come with the, you know, the animate, those things. So what I bring to the table is unique because I'm unique. And I actually wrote that down too. And seeing the limiting belief next to the liberating truth,
Yeah.
I mean, it was a physical reaction to go, holy moly,
Yes.
why would I believe that when all the other people around me who I trust and I've, you know,
Yeah.
who are part of my life, tell me opposite.
I love that.
And calling me going, can you meet with me to talk about my resume? Can we just talk through what does a career look like? I'm 20. I don't know what I'm going to do. So yeah, it's all those things.
I love that. I love that. And I think so often for people who struggle to figure out what they're good at or what do they have to offer, often it's what you said. It's people who are coming to you. What are they coming to you for? You know what I mean?
Yes.
And so that's very discerning that you pay attention to that and think, oh, maybe there is something here. Maybe I have something to offer. Yeah. Because so often it is just stuff that people naturally have come to you for years. And that could be to help them repaint their furniture, to help them organize their kitchen or office, like you said, or it could be for advice or guidance or whatever. It might seem simple, but because to you it is simple because you're gifted with it,
right.
And that's how you're wired. But to other people, it's a gift. So I love that you called that out. So I mean, because it is intimidating when it comes to putting yourself out there, and it's different than corporate in that way. I feel like in corporate, certainly things might feel risky or you might have to be brave and make a decision or a move, but you don't feel like it's all on you, right?
Correct. It's correct.
Right.
Yep.
And the things that you've done, Cheryl, I mean, I've seen firsthand the work that you've done with people and the transformation. I mean, people choke up when they talk about the change in their life after interacting with you. So, I mean, that's just.
And on the days when it's hard and I think I don't have value or I don't, I think about it kind of like a golf game.
Yeah.
If anybody's ever played golf, they're out of 10 shots, 9 of them are, ugh. One of them might be great. And as soon as you hit that great one, you go, I'm doing that again. I'm going back again. And I see the faces and I see, again, it goes back to my personal mission statement. I'm encouraging and equipping you to move forward because without hope, we got nothing. Now, the other thing is it took me 3 full years from the time that somebody said I ought to do this to this moment where I went, oh my gosh, this is what I do. And I have such clarity, and everything that comes at me, I filter through that lens. Does this fit here? And it's become this, 3 years was hard and itchy and like, blah. And now I go, no, it's good. But it took, and that's what I would encourage to business owners. That beginning, just get in there and do it. Just do something. But be agile enough to step back and discern and say, am I headed in the right direction? Is everything starting to feel peaceful and where my sweet spot is?
I like that.
Yeah.
I think that's good advice. And what got you there? Like and you don't know I was going to ask you this, so I'm making you think on your feet. But when you talk about those 3 years, like what are some of the things the past 3 years that helped you get from that position of being like, well, I don't know, like, what am I doing? And to a position of confidence and just being secure in that.
Sure. One of the things was a position that I took unexpectedly very quickly in an entrepreneurship institute. And then I was subsequently, it was a wonderful fit in so many ways. And then leadership changed. And the bottom line is they fired me. And it was, I had to look back and really think about what did I learn? And I learned from other people around me because I started to think about, why do people call me? Why do they want to meet with me? Because for a while I was overwhelmed with, I can't meet with any more people. But what are they asking of me? And then when I would do something, I would stop and go, wow, why did that feel so good? What I wrote. Or I went back, I journal a lot. I've journaled for a long, long time. And that has been very telling because I can see patterns in my life. I also reached out to those people that I trusted. And I started to put a professional development network together. The mastermind was, I would highly encourage people to either get a coach, which I have an executive coach for 4.5 years, or be part of a mastermind or surround yourself with those people because it was accountability. It was, why are you thinking this? And how did this action fit? And so I couldn't have done the work myself. So it was it was the strategic putting the team around me. It, it all brought me to this, but and a lot of it is just discerning over time, what am I good at?
Yeah.
And then going, oh, I'm not good at that. So why do I keep pushing?
Yeah.
The other thing is for me physically, I can feel, because I'm done so much work in self-awareness, I can feel when I'm pushing against something and it's not right. And I've started to really pay attention to that instead of being the desperate, I got to take everything. No, because that's not good for the people either. Yeah. So.
That is awesome. So much of what you just said resonated with me. And one of the things I just want to call out, because I think it's easy to miss, is that you pay attention to how something feels. And I think too, as you're thinking through, you know, what should I do? You know, should I pursue this business or that business or this talent or whatever? What are those things that fill you up? Because there are things that we're all good at that don't make us happy, you know? Like there are things we're gifted at and can do. Great example, public speaking.
Yeah.
There are people that say, you should do that because I hate it. It makes me want to throw up and die. Like, you know, like there are things that we're good at that if it doesn't fill your cup, so thinking through what are those things that make you feel energized? What are those tasks or experiences that just fill your cup and you leave with more energy than you started with? And so I love that you called that out, because I think that's easy to overlook.
It is. And we know it immediately and somebody identified this. I think it was in the mastermind. It was, as soon as you say something, are you dreading it? And then you want to decline it. Like you say yes to coffee and it gets to the day of and you're like, I don't want to go. Why did I say yes to this person? When in essence, we should stop and be discerning ahead of time instead of the dread and that. And I've listened to that too. So I really do. I take into account, I listen to those people with wisdom around me. It's been critical. And I have purposely put people in my life who are lifers in places, who are business owners, who are men or women in different stages, ahead of me, behind me, because I take all those nuggets and it has helped me continue to be personally responsible and accountable, but aware.
Yeah,
as well.
I love that. And what about too, like because I know you, I know that you also are very intentional about reading and podcasts and just consuming high quality professional development resources, right? That's a big part too, isn't it?
I do. Yes, I do. And it's funny, with this new job that started, I didn't have a lot of time and I hadn't figured out a schedule, and I could tell that my brain was hungry again and I was getting off track and just kind of like, and so then accountability wise, I put into place, okay, when am I going to do this? And I can tell then my thoughts are more positive, and that if a limiting belief comes into my mind, it's there for a split second rather than 5.
Yeah.
And because I can keep that at bay. And the other thing is, I have really backed off of, I don't listen to a lot of negative stuff. I really am guarded about what I allow in my world, even social media and those kinds of things. And I also, and I do read a lot. I read a lot. So those are all systems that I have put in place that I know I need for me over time. But the accountability and then that personal executive coach has been key, because it really is about how aware are we of ourselves, because there's no way in heck I'm perfect. I want to get better at that. And even yesterday something happened here at work and I went, I had no idea that's how it sounded. Okay, what do I need to do differently? And part of that is vulnerability to say, okay, I don't know, help me.
Yeah.
And especially as you're starting your own business, man, there's a lot of stuff. So you can choose to have all these negative things in your life, or you can block time, and that's not selfish either. That is not selfish to protect. It's necessary. Yeah.
I love it. And you're strategic. It's clear that you're very strategic. I think that's the key word here, which makes sense because that's a big part of what you do, is help people be strategic in their own lives. But in your life, you're strategic about who you spend your time with, what you listen to, how what you do in your time, how you structure your days. And that, I think, is so key to everything you do, key to moving forward, right? Key to getting unstuck is just being able to be strategic, because so much of what we do, right, is just habits, you know, it's not even conscious, like going through the motions. You
That's right.
realize what's impacting you positively and negatively unless you really stop and think about it.
Right. And the other thing, Jen, I'm just sitting here thinking, if I'm not getting unstuck in my own life, I can't I can't run a business that I have clients who come to me to get unstuck if my world is a mess or and oh wow, here's a moment that I just thought of. That's part of why the last 3 years, that's part of my journey, because I was stuck in certain places and then I started to move those things out of the way and it started to be clearer and I could lead my own self where I wasn't leading myself before, or I was allowing other people to lead where I shouldn't have. So that was part of why the journey the 3 years, what has happened in the journey, that's been really a blessing.
Yeah.
So.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome. All right. Last but not least, because I want to respect your time and everyone else's, I would love for you just to share, if you're going to share one piece of advice with maybe a woman in particular who has a passion or talent and they're nervous about the thought of, you know, can I really make this a business? Should I really put myself out there and offer this to the world? What would you say?
Surround yourself with people who can talk through it and brainstorm it and and not that you're going to take all their advice, but surround yourself with a network that can help you cut down the limiting beliefs or help you see a direction you need to go, but not doing it alone and sitting in your own thoughts, unhealthy. Yeah. Because we can derail ourselves very quickly. And the fact that the mastermind and all of those, I would never have thought it. I'm a dairy farmer's daughter from a little small town who just does what she does. I was a first grade teacher. And now I have people from California and Belize and all these who would in a second reach out to me. Don't do this alone. And be brave enough to have the courage to reach out to somebody you wouldn't think. Like, you don't know me. If you're watching, you don't know me. Go to Cheryl B. Mitchell and see me. Like, reach out to somebody and have that courage, because that's what will help you grow.
Yeah. Oh, I love that.
That's my one piece.
Oh, that's a good piece. I'll take that piece. Where can people, I know you just said your website, where's the best place? Is that the best place to connect with you?
It is CherylBMitchell.com. I just got it all revised. I have a video on the front, and I have a talk I gave at something called Pachakacha, which you have to look that up. But I gave a talk, so that's on there. There's some blogs, but that is absolutely the best place to find me and look to see what I do. But I would be happy to connect with anybody and talk with them, or just have a conversation.
Yeah, absolutely. I love that about you, Cheryl. You're one of the most accessible, down to earth, talented women I know. So I would encourage everybody, whether you're watching live or the replay, to go to CherylBMitchell.com. Check out her website. You can connect with her there. You can read her blogs, check out everything that she's doing. And she didn't even touch on like half of the things that she does. So go check it out. She does really amazing stuff. So, all right.
Can I say one thing before we go?
No, yes.
You did not ask me to say this, and I wasn't going to, but I'm called to do it. Your class, your course, I was very reluctant to take it because I thought, I'm not a business owner. And what I have referred to it almost on a weekly basis for myself, because it did exactly what I do. It chunked it out. Mm-hmm. And so if you're even remotely, even if maybe you think it's 5 years down the road, it's a resource. Mm-hmm. So I just want to encourage people to do that. And I know you didn't ask me to do this, and so it's just on me, but it was just another resource that helped me. And just being able to do this is wonderful. So I appreciate the opportunity this morning very much.
Aw, thanks.
It's fun.
All right. Well, it's great to see you, my friend. And thanks everybody for watching. So enjoy the rest of your Friday.
Okay.
Bye.
Thanks. Bye.